Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and continuing on with the Halloweenish reviews on the weekends. Yes, guys. That's right. You read the title, and you know exactly what it is I am now about to review next. That is something Halloweenish. And something that comes straight from the beloved good old days of PBS Kids. And definitely this show being one of those shows in the 90s that was so memorable, so nostalgic, so educational. All of the above. Yes, guys, I am now reviewing something Magic School Bus. And of course, when you think of the Magic School Bus, what, you instantly think of the theme song? Of course you do, yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of you who are big fans of the Magic School Bus and have so many nostalgic memories of this show. But I hate to break it to you guys, I sadly never grew up with Magic School Bus. And yeah, because with the first things I have to say about the Magic School Bus itself in a whole, and then I'll talk about, with what I'm reviewing. My first thoughts on the Magic School Bus Halloween special, which, yes, from 1995, not to mention it's celebrating its anniversary, a Magic School Bus Halloween. Okay, but with the first things I have to say about the show itself, Magic School Bus. Yeah, again, I never grew up with the Magic School Bus. I hate to break it to you, but it's true, okay? It's nothing intentional from me, okay? I never had seen an episode of the Magic School Bus fully, well, up until now, because I watched this and the Halloween special, because a Magic School Bus Halloween containing 2 episodes that are Halloweenish of Magic School Bus. But point being is that, yeah, I never watched it, nor did I see any reruns. I'm sure there were reruns, but I never saw any. And the only, stuff I had watched on PBS Kids at a very young age was mostly Sesame Street. But at a certain point, yeah, I started watching more of what was on PBS Kids at the time. And me being a 2000s baby, yeah, because some of those shows that were on still on the good old days of PBS Kids, well, from, say, Clifford, Word Girl, Between the Lions, Super Y, Curious George, Martha Speaks, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood being in there too. And what else was on PBS Kids Go? As I just mentioned, Word Girl, Arthur, of course, Fetch with Ruff Ruffman, Cyber Chase, the list goes on, yeah. But Magic School Bus, not one of them. I'd know, even at a young age, if I had seen anything, any, promos or bumpers in relation to Magic School Bus, but I didn't. But, of course, I've been well aware of the existence of Magic School Bus, and knowing how much of a huge impact this show left off, and how much of a cult following it has, in a good way, of course, and even still to this day, the love and nostalgia people have with this show. And the same would go for some of you. I know I'll probably be hearing you from the comments. Yeah, there has never been anything specifically like what Magic School Bus brought to those who grew up with it. And yeah, again, being another one of those shows on children's TV, most prominently PBS Kids, being very educational. In the words of Bleakley, educate yourself. But yeah. But to finally sit down and watch a material of Magic School Bus, and in the case of something being Halloweenish, here I am now, about to review it and such. With the first things I have to say about a Magic School Bus, again, a Magic School Bus Halloween containing 2 episodes, and the running time for this being up to, say, 58 minutes and so on. Yeah. I mean, my taste on Magic School Bus, and in the case that I have watched something that is Halloweenish, pretty interesting. Yeah. The educational stuff that these 2 episodes have, You know, the first one being about sound, and the other being about bats and fun facts about bats and so on. Again, educational stuff. Yeah, great animation, of course. And, you know, the voice talents that were a part of Magic School Bus, most prominently Miss Frizzy herself, Miss Valerie Frizzy. Obviously I should say her full name. And I had no full knowledge that, yeah, the sweet, talented actress Lily Tomlin being the voice of Mrs. Valerie Frizzle. That's really cool, yeah. And knowing whom else appeared in this episode and, you know, some guest voices that this show had, and in the case of this episode in particular, just, yeah, really cool. Yeah, and in the case for A Magic School Bus Halloween, like with its live-action segments, yeah, they were pretty fun as well. And I didn't realize at first until I then fully realized that, yeah, Lily Tomlin, we see her in live-action form, and apparently, yeah, she is playing live-action Miss Frizzle, but in disguise. But until I talk about that some more, yeah, just overall, with what I've watched and have seen of Something Magic School Bus, and for this, I have watched something Halloweenish, and that being the A Magic School Bus Halloween, 2 episodes in one. Pretty good. Yep, I won't deny it. Because, yeah, like, I don't have any negative thoughts, of course, towards Magic School Bus. How can you? Just, yeah. And like I said, I understand and I have been well aware of the love and respect the Magic School Bus has, and yeah, because knowing that this was a memorable show for the kids at heart and those that have grown up with it, you get my point, just, yeah. Okay, and just overall, A Magic School Bus Halloween, the Magic School Bus Halloween special containing 2 Halloweenish episodes, really good. Okay, now with the first things I've had to say about the Magic School Bus, and with it, A Magic School Bus Halloween out of the way. Now, as always, for me, read the description / the story. A mysterious stranger inspires 3 frightened youngsters. And with the segments of Magic School Bus, the 2 episodes. Yeah. Okay, so, now with reading the description / the story now out of the way, let us now dive in / break down A Magic School Bus Halloween itself, shall we? Okay, so, like I said, A Magic School Bus Halloween having some live-action stuff, live-action segments. And our 3 main kid characters in the live-action segments. We have a black student by the name of Katie. Yeah, they're both school kids, the 3 of them. Katie being played by Carsima, Richie being played by Ian Gabriel Martinez, if I got his last name right, and Howard / Howie, yeah, he's nicknamed Howie, being played by Danny Tamberly, if I got that right too. Again, you know me sometimes. So basically, what's going on with our 3 student characters, because they're inside this city museum, and all 3 are worried about their teacher in class, because, well, they can't find them anywhere, especially since it's dark inside this city museum. All they have is flashlights, and, well, because Richie at one point asks Katie if they'll be back at the Halloween campin', and Katie agrees on this, and yeah, because there's this thing going on at the city museum, apparently, the Halloween campin'. Presuming that, yeah, they're camping inside the city museum. That could be fun. And, well, everything goes well until the thunder claps and shows a giant monster, and, well, basically all it was dinosaur bones. It was a T-Rex skeleton, and Richie and Howie being the biggest scaredy cats. Katie, she's okay with this, you know, she knows that there's nothing to be scared about, and there's really nothing scary inside the city museum. And, yeah, because, well, the boys, they would stop at an area, and Howie has had it that next Halloween, and that he'll be camping out just then. haunted organ music plays, and Richie thinks that it's Katie playing a trick on them, and yeah, he tells Katie to knock it off until Richie goes first, and then Howie follows behind, going into a tunnel. And Howie, of course, being nervous about this, but, you know, he doesn't want to leave Richie by himself and just wants to go in and find where he is. And, well, because they make their way into a tunnel, they fall down, and, and especially since Howie thought that Richie and also Katie were in trouble. And what they find, and when they went through the tunnel, was a basement. And what they find in the basement is old stuff, and, well, I mean, nothing too scary, I guess, for them, and, I mean, that goes for us, too, but then they get spooked when, like, sheets move and, you know, like, curtains, and it's Katie, basically, and behind her was an historical piece, you know, an Egyptian tomb, basically. And she plays a trick that the tomb was moving and such, but then things escalate when the tomb starts to move itself. It starts to wobble. And the boys point that out to her, and her noticing. But turns out that someone was in that tomb playing a trick on them. And it's, just so happens to be an unbeknownst to the three kids. And I think that goes for us, technically, kind of. But if anybody figured this out immediately, it's Mrs. Frizzle in disguise, whom, of course, being played by Lily Tomlin. So it's great to see that we see Lily Tomlin in live-action form as Mrs. Frizzle, because, well, who else would play Mrs. Frizzle than, well, Lily Tomlin? Not just doing the voice, but in live action. So, yeah. Anyways, it's kind of like, I don't know, it kind of counts because, you know, it's like how SpongeBob has done something like that. Like, well, besides Tom Kenny playing Patchy, I'm talking about, say, when they celebrated SpongeBob's anniversary and we saw the live-action forms of those characters, you know, the human versions. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, so take that as an example. Yeah. So we have Mrs. Fritz, whom is dressed as an old peddler. Lily Tomlin just being such a good sport at what she does here. It's just great. And the students, they have no idea where the frizz comes from, and Katie says that she's come from another universe. And Miss Frizzle talks about working on Halloween and that she loves it. And just then, squeaky noises are heard, and the students, well, they look down on their feet, and it's hissing cockroaches. Yeah, hissing bugs and such. And, you know, which the frizz relates to cockroaches and beetles. And Miss Frizzle also talks about the sights and sounds of Halloween, and then she hears a dinosaur roaring inside her bag, because she's got a bag where it's making a lot of noise. I guess it's like, you know, the bag of sounds. Well, technically. That's not the official name, but yeah. And to her, the sounds are so delightful. And then Katie asks if she can see, but Howard refuses for her, so Mrs. Frizzle throws the bag to Richie. Then the students say that they have to leave so they can find their class and teacher, who are waiting in the camp-in. But they stop at the same spot, and Mrs. Frizzle shows them pictures of kids from her universe. So, okay, yeah, so it's very interesting that Mrs. Frizzle, she apparently has the ability to go from one universe to the next. I guess the live-action realm or something, I don't know. The knowledge that's in Magic School Bus. Anyways, so again, showing pictures of the kids from her universe, the kid characters we know from the show. Yeah, and one of them most prominently including Carlos. And this is how the story goes. It all started one Halloween night, and the little boy decided to go on a voyage of seeking the perfect sound. His search became an uphill struggle. And that's when we come to the first of the 2 episodes that are a part of A Magic School Bus Halloween. The first being from Season 1, and that being episode, the fingers, episode 8, which of course being In the Haunted House. And yeah, might as well go ahead and, of course, read the description / the story. Topic: sound. The class is thrilled about its upcoming concert at the Sound Museum until they discover the spooky mansion is more of a thrill than bargained for, with Carol Channing as Cornelia C. Contralto, if I said that right. Yeah, so, yeah, since the description / the story already says that, yeah, Carol Channing is, yeah, a guest voice on this episode, but yeah. But, yeah, so In the Haunted House, yeah, it was a pretty good episode. The first one I had fully watched, and, yeah. And our main kid characters, because, yep, we have, say, Ralphie, Phoebe, Arnold, Tim, Keisha, Liz, Wanda, Carlos, and Dorothy. Yep. And Ralphie, he's on xylophone. Phoebe is on saxophone. Arnold is on southphone. I think I mispronounced it, but I think you know what instrument I'm talking about. Timmy's on the violin, and Keisha is on the clarinet, Liz is on the drums, and Wanda on the trombone, and Carlos, well, he has made a special instrument he invented himself. And yeah, with Dorothy Ann being the conductor of the orchestra. And Carlos, his attempt to play the instrument, well, it elicits dissonance, and even the kids going on saying that it's loopy. Yeah. And it just doesn't work as Carlos intended it for it to be. Also, I had completely forgotten that, yeah, in the Magic School Bus, there is a pet chameleon that is a part of the cast of the Magic School Bus named Liz. Yeah, I'm sure you guys, of course, remember. How can you? How can you not remember / know about the character Liz, the pet chameleon? Then Mrs. Frizzle, you know, then comes around wearing a costume with various instruments. Now, she's got the hang of it. And, well, by taking off the costume and the class, they tell her about Carlos's situation with his instrument, which is Devoted of Harmony, and the rehearsal at the Sound Museum is this afternoon, so yeah. Then Miss Frizzle leads the class to, of course, the Magic School Bus, and the class take a ride. Carlos decides to put a blue top hat on the instrument, just all the various things that he puts on the instrument, and if it's really going to help with what Carlos is intending for this custom instrument that he's made, yeah. I mean, of course, how is he really supposed to know? And, you know, Carlos going on saying that he needs more time, and Miss Frizzle, you know, alerting the Magic School Bus to speed, and it eventually breaks down. Yeah, it overheated, basically. So, with the Magic School Bus, unfortunately overheated, the poor Magic School Bus, and, you know, the Magic School Bus being alive as of its own. Yep, you know that too. Then it occurs to all of them, and with Mrs. Frizzle telling them to, yeah, for all of them to push the Magic School Bus to their destination, telling the class that they will be stuck in the woods for a while, but now that they will be pushing it and such. And apparently, while they're out in the nighttime, it's very quiet, and they don't really hear any sounds at nighttime. And Carlos had to put an umbrella on his instrument to have a thunder sound to it. As well as a mane to sound like a lion's roar. Okay. And, well, then Dorothy rebuffs those decisions, telling him that the thunder sounds more like a drizzle and the mane sounds more like a kitten. Yeah. Well, with the students continuing on pushing the Magic School Bus, then they hear another sound, and they think that it's from Carlos's instrument. But Carlos denies this, and the students view a house. Yeah, they view a house, and of course, which being the haunted house that they first think it is. And, well, when they make their way to the house, by ringing the doorbell, which makes a peculiar sound, and Arnold, Ralphie, and Tim decide to leave, but Carlos wants to know what made that sound. So the students, they reluctantly enter the house, and the door makes a loud sound as it shuts. And once they step in, and just kind of speed things up, because, all the sounds they're hearing, and and even at times when the kids would be scared, but Mrs. Frizzle, no, she's perfectly fine with what all is going on. And they would discover that this house belonging to someone by the name of Professor Cornelia C. Contralto, eccentric collector of sounds, as Mrs. Frizzle describes, and she was apparently born in the year 1807 and disappeared in 1892. And Mrs. Frizzle then tells the students that after her disappearance, the house turned into a sound museum. Yep, and sound museum. Which has confirmed Dorothy Ann's prediction that the class missed the rehearsal. Mrs. Frizzle and her whereabouts are obscure, and now we just have the students roaming around and with what they discover. And even when they presume that maybe even Ralphie especially surmises that the professor is a ghost seeking for the perfect sound. Maybe so, but maybe in a good way, of course. Nothing too scary. And just all the various places they go through, and with the sounds and all that, and different rooms that they make their way in, and Mrs. Frizzle just having some fun, and poking some fun, not in a bad way, of course, nothing intentional towards the students, just, And, the more they search around, and wind blows out the candles, and even, dimming a bedroom, and Carlos still struggling with his custom instrument he's made. And also there's a moment where, because they find special goggles. By using these goggles, using their goggles that they wear to follow these mysterious sounds, and this one in particular, and they would soon learn that it's the sound waves that Elix echoes, and find that sound. Find the sound waves are coming from a mysterious door, and as they're bouncing on the walls, and Carlos would be the first to, open a door and find a woman playing the sounds of an organ. And that woman, of course, being the professor herself, Cornelio. Which actually, she's Cornelio C. Contralto II. And that she is, it's obvious that she's the great-granddaughter of the original professor. And now she tells Carlos that she's been helping him make his instrument sound better than before, and in preparation for the concert. And Carlos then learns that that his instrument had too much stuff on it, and which prevented any form of vibration, because that being one big thing when it comes to the instruments, and in the case of Carlos's custom instrument, vibration. And thus, his custom instrument makes great sound, unlike how it sounded before. And, by the next day, the class, they would perform at the Sound Museum, and when it comes to Carlos's turn, his instrument does the job great. And by the way, because the music that they were rehearsing and playing is the same, you know what it is, of course, and when we think of that music, what do we instantly think of? Lone Ranger? Yes, that. That. I don't even say the name of it, because of course. So, in the end, it all turns out great. Lesson learned, and the whole thing about sounds, vibration, echoes, all that, sound waves, everything else. Not to mention that it's brought up at times that, the questions Carlos has, most prominently, they'd always get answered. And I think it's obvious that Mrs. Frizzle and the professor, the second, they were totally in on this. Even Liz. Technically, Liz was kind of in on it, too, because, anyways. So, and after, that episode finishes, Richie finally realizes that it's actually just a bag of old sounds, and it's no big deal for him now. And Miss Frizzle would agree to this, and that there's no need to keep them there any longer, and she unleashes the sounds and so on. And then the attention is turned to Howie on tarantulas, because there's a tarantula that's crawling on Howie's arm. Now, don't tell me you would be instantly freaked out the sight you'd see something like that. Just, of course, how can you not? And Mrs. Frizzle addressing to Howie that, they're not as bad as they seem once you get to know them, and they don't want to bite you at first. And if you don't harm them, they won't harm you. And even when it leads to Howie, stroking the back of the tarantula, it all turns out fine. And even, bats are mentioned, and especially from Katie. And when Mrs. Frizzle finds a bat that was hanging upside down, showing it to Katie, and, finding them very scary and so on, and thinking that, the bats could be vampires and such, but not really. And, well, that of course would lead to another story that Mrs. Frizzle in disguise would tell the students, which of course being episode 4 from season 2 of The Magic School Bus, Going Batty. Description / the story. Topic: bats. Mrs. Frizzle invites the class parents in to see what their kids are learning about bats. Ralph and the gang are convinced that Fritz is a vampire. Why exactly would, especially Ralphie, because, have they not really come to know so much about Miss Frizz, and she's not whom she appears to be? Of course. Just, I don't know, just one of those things. I'm just simply saying, because I, of course, have had the good feeling, and I know, because even though I haven't seen anything of Magic School Bus until now, I would know, of course, that, what the character of Mrs. Frizzle's like, just, well, the total opposite of thinking that she's a vampire? Where'd you get that idea? Anyways, but so, episode 4 from season 2 of Magic School Bus, Going Batty, because, well, the class is studying non-centernal, if I said that right, animals at school, and eventually checks out the attic of the classroom. And inside the attic, Tim notices a bat hanging from the ceiling and confirmed that the bat is the only non-central creature they know very little about. Interesting, because, am I correct that bats would be the top non-central creatures to know about? I'm just saying. I think I probably would be right. And a bit of them are a bit scared and such. Even when they spot something else big hanging upside down, and Mrs. Frizzle, she's hanging upside down, dressed as a vampire and so on. And Ralphie, especially Ralphie, because he's one of the main characters centered on in this episode. Well, he becomes apprehensive towards Mrs. Frizzle, her attitude and how she's acting. But she's just in character, of course. Come on. Don't we all act in character sometimes when we dress up for Halloween, stuff like that, cosplay, whatever, But then a little later, the students' parents arrive at the school, and Mrs. Frizzle, after being introduced to Keisha's grandmother, and because to go ahead and mention the rest of the voice cast members, because the kids' parents, well, because most prominently say, one of them, of course, being Keisha's grandmother. It's just great to see, because knowing some of the voice cast members Magic School Bus had, and one of them, of course, others that I do recognize. So, in Going Batty, because again, we have the kids' students. Well, most prominently because we have Keisha's grandmother, Mrs. Franklin, and Mrs. Franklin being voiced by one of the original 3 Catwomen herself, but also another voice that we know her so well of, Yzma. Eartha Kitt. Yes, Eartha Kitt voicing Mrs. Franklin. And the others, because Carlos's dad, Mr. Romano, being voiced by Edward James Olmos, if I got his last name right. Again, you know me sometimes. And Mr. Perlstein being voiced by Elliot Gold. Dr. Tonelli, yeah, I think I said that right, being voiced by Tiny Daly. Yeah, pretty sure I got her name right. And there's the producer being voiced by Malcolm Jamal Warner. And yeah. And the kids, because, because Danny, who plays Howie in the live-action segments, he voices Arnold. Wanda Lee being voiced by Lisa Jai. Collar being voiced by Amos Crawley. And Ralphie being voiced by Stuart Stone. Tim, Andre Audley Laurent. Phoebe Therese being voiced by Maya Fillar. And also we have Dorothy Ann's mom being voiced by Susie Kurtz. And Dorothy herself, Dorothy Ann, being voiced by Tyra Meyer. Yeah, so, and, I didn't mention him, Mr. Therese, which being, of course, the dad of Phoebe. Mr. Therese being voiced by Dana Elkar. Yeah. All right, so we have our parents that are present in this episode, and by the way, because I quickly realized that it turns out that the kids' parents, unbeknownst to them, they have no idea what the kids actually do, and when they're with Mrs. Frizzle, they have no idea about what the school bus does, any of it. And I'm sure you guys are aware of this too, for those of you that have watched Magic School Bus. Anyways, so, yeah, it's a good thing I named the rest of the voice cast, especially on account of the kids, but anyways, as I was saying, because, yeah, with the arrival of the kids' parents, they have arrived at the school and seen what the kids are doing, and, well, again, with Ralphie being very apprehensive towards Mrs. Frizzle, believing that, she's a vampire, but of course that's not the case. Well, what would happen next is, Keisha's grandmother tells her that she could just eat you up, exaggerating Ralphie's trepidation, if I said that right. And, well, when Ralphie's mother, which being the doctor, meets Mrs. Frizzle, the latter states that I do so enjoy taking him under my wing. Not in that way of vampires and such. And which, apparently this convinces Ralphie full enough to thinking and claiming that Mrs. Frizzle is a vampire. And, well, Frizzle, who is being a vampire for Halloween, just is planning to take the parents on a special road trip and such. And, well, yeah, and Ralphie just being very concerned about this and trying to warn his fellow students / his friends about this, but they're not really sure about this. And, well, with that conversation that Ralphie's having, it's interrupted when, the class overhears that Mrs. Frizzle, as I said, informing the parents that the class and their parents will go someplace more suitable. Yeah, so this also includes the students. This being suitable and breathtaking. And right before letting out a sinister laugh as the parents enter the Magic School Bus, Mrs. Frizzle tells them that the children will be taken care of. And thus, she takes them on a nighttime field trip to learn more about bats. And the class follow her and their parents via 8-seat bat mobile. Yeah, the Magic School Bus turning into a bat. That's pretty cool. And the Magic School Bus as a 8-seat Batmobile, it's kind of, it's not one whole word, Batmobile, just Batmobile. And not to be confused with Batman's vehicle, overall, point being, the Magic School Bus, now turned into a bat, half bus, is driven by Liz to the scary old castle. That's where they're heading. And as they arrive to the castle, well, they spy on Mrs. Frizzle and their parents, and whom, they've entered into the castle, and when Ralphie keeps trying to convince the class that Mrs. Frizzle is a vampire, well, they're still not sure. Yeah. And especially Keisha just had enough of this and decides to see for herself and to prove to Ralphie that, oh, is she a vampire? Well, I got to see this myself. And, yeah, by entering in and, you know, they view Mrs. Frizzle and the class parents drinking a beverage, each through the window. And, he becomes convinced that Mrs. Frizzle is making the adults drink blood. But of course they're not. And Keisha tells Ralphie that the adults are drinking tomato juice. That's what it is. And Mrs. Frizzle would then serve at a class picnic. Ralphie then comes with a plan to drive a textbook in the heart who he calls the teacher vampire. And, you know, then Carlos, he would swat mosquitoes off of him and bats would fly around the class. And Phoebe tells the class students and slash her friends, her friends, yeah, gotta slow down, that the bats are really eating mosquitoes. Yeah, because the whole thing of bats eating mosquitoes, and as they're driving in the magic school bus slash, you know, it's the magic school bus being a half bus, half bat. Because I actually didn't quite really fully know about that bats can eat moths. Yeah, this would lead to causing Keisha to come to the conclusion that the bats aren't vampires. Yeah. And then meanwhile, Mrs. Frizzle, you know, she's giving the adults a tour through the inside of the castle, and they walk around the bat guano, if I said that right, yeah. And the waste of the bats that makes great fertilizer, according to Mrs. Frizzle. Yeah, fun fact, according to her. And when they walk through a stuffy hallway, Mrs. Frizzle, you know, she then tells the class's parents for them to then for you know that it's from the breath. It's from the breath of the bats, basically. Yeah, the whole thing of you know, with what of the fertilizer. And jokingly states that the bath bread is better than no breath at all. Really? I did not know about that. And then they come across a pink bat progeny? If I said that right? Yeah. And which Frizzle calls the children of the night. Children of the night. What music they make. And yeah, the class also views them through the window, and Keisha would then inform Ralphie that the bat babies drink milk, not blood. True. Mrs. Frizzle then tells Keisha's grandmother, basically about how bats protect their young, and Ralphie is still convinced that with Mrs. Frizzle being a vampire, she will feed the class to the bats. Of course not. Come on, Ralphie. Just, yeah. And misconstruing tidbits, if I said that right, yeah. Tidbits, sorry. Food fed to bats, basically. And as kid bites, yeah. So he brings the class with him to get help. And, well, here's the thing, because at one point, the students, now we come to this, where the students themselves, and besides the magic school bus, along with Liz, the chameleon, they would all turn into lizards. Not lizards, bats. Jeez, because I was talking about Liz and so on. But yeah, so they all transform into bats, in which they fly through the woods, and the class, they're impressed of the fact that the magic school bus, you know, isn't running into any trees, yeah. But still speed things up some, because, yeah, eventually, because when they would turn into bats, that's when they would go into the castle, and, well, they would still overhear with what Mrs. Frizzle is stating. And at one point she states, "At last, the moment I've been waiting for has come." And Ralphie, you know, then tells the class the vampire in his comic book said the same thing, and the class fly to the castle. Yeah. And, by what they overhear still from Mrs. Frizzle, and then it leads to Keisha being worried about her grandmother's safety, and yeah, then she would shout out, don't you dare bite my grandmother!" And yeah, the rest of the class, along with the magic school bus, Bat, they would follow along, and by using their sounds, and another thing about this, you know, with the sounds, is echolocation. Bats having that, of course. I even know the fact that dolphins, they have that too, echolocation, and I'm sure you know about this too. So, by going down and with what they discover, they see that Mrs. Frizzle, along with their parents, they're all hanging upside down, because that's what bats do. And apparently, Mrs. Frizzle got all of the students' parents to dress up like bats, and this upsets them very much. And, yeah, because when they finally spot them hanging on a chandelier, well, they fly through them, and the adults exaggerate themselves off the chandelier, and when the class finally find the truth, yeah, now they do. Now Ralphie realizes that it was all bullcrap, basically. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true. I mean, on account of Magic School Bus, like, I'm sorry, this is bullshit. Just, okay. Anyways, and, yeah, eventually, because they get some laughs, and, like I said earlier, the parents having no idea about what Mrs. Frizzle's actually like, that she has a magic school bus. And they do see the bats that are flying around them, but they have no idea that it's their kids. And then eventually, yeah, because they would meet up with the kids who are back to their normal selves outside of the castle, unbeknownst to all that has happened and what their kids were doing. And, just, you know, and Ralphie telling, you know, addressing to his mother that he's just, you know, hanging around and, all that, just, yeah. And, which both he and Mrs. Frizzle get a laugh at, and just, yeah. And after that story, well, Mrs. Frizzle names, yeah, after that story ends, we come back to the live-action segments where, yeah, Mrs. Frizzle names the bat, Belinda. So she puts the bat named Belinda in the bag, but Katie explains that if she only puts scary things in the bag, then she won't put the bat in there, and especially on account that it shouldn't suffocate. And the more you know something, the less you fear. Good lesson there to know about. And puts the back up in the ceiling where she belongs. Yep, where it was in the first place. And Richie then asks Howie if that guy, which being Mrs. Frizzle, reminds him of somebody. Yeah, because all this time they think it was a guy. Yeah, because with them speculating that, yeah, there's something about this person that seems very familiar. Then Mrs. Frizzle, I mean, yeah, she makes no comment about this. And as she begins to leave, Richie, Howie, and Katie asks anything such as, what she did, but she says that she didn't do anything as she's about to disembark, and that it was the students that did something, it's something that they did. And Mrs. Frizzle says that the students began this victim of their own fears, but they took chances, made mistakes, and they conquered them, as anybody would in reality. Yeah, we've all been there. And just then, we hear the sound of the magic school bus, and yep, starts to beep, the horn beeps, and if you did notice, something on the back of Mrs. Frizzle's neck, something red, and oh, what could that be? It does look familiar. And, Mrs. Frizzle says goodbye to Howie, Richie, and Katie, and she disembarks and calls out to the bus, do your stuff. And then the students, they open the door, they see Liz behind the back of the bus, waving goodbye. And as the magic school bus drives off, Mrs. Frizzle lets out a wah-ha-ha-hoo, like, oh yeah, like not a wah-ha-ha, it was like, wahoo! Okay, I get it now, it was a mix of wahoo and wah-ha-ha, wah-ha-ha-hoo. Now I get it, all right. And, well, after the bus leaves Walkerfield, the students, all three of them, they go, wow, we've been frizzled! Yeah, and they high-fived. And actually, right as they were about to high-five, it pauses right there, and the credits roll. Yeah, because then they realize that, yeah, they just encountered Mrs. Frizzle. At the very end, they did. That was a funny and great way to end off, with the live-action segments of a Magic School Bus Halloween. Don't you think so? Yeah. Okay, well, a Magic School Bus Halloween. It was pretty good. Very entertaining. And the 2 episodes that are a part of a Magic School Bus Halloween in the haunted house and going batty, they were pretty good too. Yep. Some of my first episodes of a Magic School Bus that I watched. They did not disappoint, of course. with its education, the topics, all about sound, bats, everything, and knowing more about sounds, a lot about bats and what bats can do that maybe most of us didn't fully know of, especially us being youngsters, and funny moments here and there, very educational stuff, great animation, great storyline, great voice casting, of course. You know, Lily Tomlin as, you know, Mrs. Frizzle herself, just everything about the 2 episodes of Magic School Bus, and to be a part of a Magic School Bus Halloween was excellent. And I'm giving a Magic School Bus Halloween, well, why not? 10 out of 10 stars. That's appropriate, and it makes sense. Yeah, 10 out of 10 stars for a Magic School Bus Halloween, containing the 2 episodes from a Magic School Bus itself, In the Haunted House and Going Batty. And what about you guys? What did you think of a Magic School Bus Halloween itself? Did you own a VHS copy of it? Or if you didn't, then I'm sure you watched it somewhere else. Like, again, probably most of you might have watched it, say, on YouTube like I did. And if you saw the 2 episodes that were part of a Magic School Bus Halloween, if you saw them as themselves, just each of those 2 episodes from the Magic School Bus itself, In the Haunted House and Going Batty, which of those 2 episodes were your favorites? Or I'm sure you enjoyed both of them, yeah. And yeah, what are your fondest memories of the Magic School Bus itself? Your favorite episodes, your favorite topics that were talked about in the show, favorite characters, favorite moments, stuff that you were educated of thanks to the Magic School Bus. And, you know, by watching, you know, so of course by watching the Halloweenish materials that came from Magic School Bus, and you know, and of course, with a Magic School Bus Halloween, like, what did you also think of the live-action segments? And, yeah, especially with having Lily Tomlin as live-action Miss Frizzle, just seeing her in live-action form, yeah. But just, yeah, overall, what do you think of a Magic School Bus Halloween itself, with what all I've had to say, my review, and, yeah, what did you think of my review? I did my very best. Yeah, leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. And so, guys, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of a Magic School Bus Halloween. More review videos are coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I will see you guys in the next video / review. And, well, of course, continuing on, reviewing more Halloweenish materials on the weekends. Stay tuned, because what I will be reviewing next this time, well, to best describe it, let's just say it has to do with, say, this guy, that guy, and this guy. And let's just say it has to do something with, you know, like, and with there being 2 words, Monster Mash, and it's animated. Do you guys know what it is? I'm sure some of you do, but just, yeah, again, stay tuned for that. Take care, happy anniversary to a Magic School Bus Halloween, and peace out.